Hey there, crafty friends. It's Tina here from Missing Stamps. Thanks so much for stopping by the channel. In today's video, we're going to be creating a winter background card featuring the adorable Calm and Bright stamps. I adore these images, the sweet sentiments, and so let's go ahead and get started. I like to stamp and emboss my images, so I'm going to go ahead and using some Copic-friendly cardstock, go ahead and position my stamps. Once I have the stamps where I want them to be, I'll go ahead and use my little stamp tool here and my anti-static powder tool. I'm going to go ahead and use some VersaFine black ink to stamp up those images really well. And then I'm going to heat emboss that using some clear embossing powder. I like to run my heat tool for a few seconds to get it nice and hot before I go ahead and bring it to my cardstock to melt that powder. Once I have all of that powder melted, I have my images ready to be colored. For the sake of time, I went ahead and colored my images using Copics and using a little white embellishments with my white Jelly Roll pen. I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut the image out, and once I have those cut out, I'm going to work on my background. So I want to do a winter ink blended background. I'm pulling out my Distress Oxides in the colors of Faded Jeans, Salty Ocean, Peacock Feathers, and Tumbled Glass. This is one of my favorite combinations. It works for both a winter sky as well as an under the sea type of a scene. Going from darkest to light, I'm going to go ahead and blend the Faded Jeans using this soft blending brush. Now I have some soft blending brushes, and I also like to use the ink blending tool as well. I'm trying both this time, the brushes and the ink blending tool that comes with the Distress ink line, and I think that I like the Distress inking tool better than just using these blending brushes for my background. I feel like I get better coverage and they hold more color doing it this way. I do like the soft blending brushes when I'm using stencils, but I'm not stenciling this background. I'm just creating a nice blend of 4 different colored blues. And so I did find that I need to get some more of those sponge applicators so that I can have one for each of my Distress Oxide ink colors as well. I have them already for my little mini cube inks. So I'm going over each color darkest to light, blending them in as I go along. And then I like to go back over one more time doing a second layer. I do want to add more of the Faded Jeans because I feel like I didn't get enough color of the darks towards the top, so I'm going ahead and I'm adding that as well. Just going over each color, blending them together, and these Distress Oxides blend together so easily. I like to take my time, and this is a very enjoyable part of my hobby here, mixing those inks together. So you can do a lighter blend and would be done by this point, but I like to fuss with it a little bit and add color and make the color a little bit deeper. So this is what my background looks like, and so now I just feel like I'm going to heat set it because I want to stamp and emboss. And if you don't heat set it, the embossing powder will stick all over your inked panel. This kind of gives you an idea of the layout of the card that I'm creating, and so the sentiment there, I want to heat emboss using some white embossing powder. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that on there, get my anti-static tool. I'm going to add a lot of powder to this because, again, I just inked it with the Distress Oxides and I don't want the embossing powder to stick. This time I'm going to use some Versamark ink, and it stamps beautifully just the first time, and then I'm going to add some white embossing powder. I just use a piece of scratch paper for this, sprinkle it on there, and then you're going to see it shakes off just nice with that little heat setting as well as the anti-static powder tool. The sentiment turns out beautifully. So once I have that stamped, I'll go ahead and heat my heat gun again, get that melted, and it looks just beautiful against the blue background. So now I'm just going to use a stitched rectangle die for a little bit of added interest, and I'm going to cover up that sentiment with a little bit of washi tape and use some acrylic white paint to create a snowy background. all you need is just a tiny drop of paint, and that is even more than I need. But I'm going to add a little bit of water with a paintbrush, and then I'm just going to shake it on there, and then it adds that nice snowy background. So simple, so quick and easy, and then it also adds a little bit of texture too because of the paint. What I like to do with my stamped and colored images is just to take a little bit of the color so that it doesn't look stark white against my ink blended background. And so in this case, just between the branches, I'm just going to add a little bit of the light blue Copic color, and that way it blends in much better. For the snow, I decided I wanted to use some white glittered paper, and then I have this stitched die here that's just going to add a little border, and so I'm going to have a little snowbank to set my critter and my tree on. So all that's left to do is glue all of this together. I'm going to use some of this Fairly Arts glue to glue each one of my layers. So just going around the edges, I'm going to add some of that liquid glue, adhere it to that layer for my card. My card is a side folding A2 size card. And I just frame the glue so that way it'll helps to eliminate any of those hard lines that you can get by using the liquid glue. But I like that I'm able to get my panels on straight. I have a hard time when I'm using the double-sided adhesive. To add some dimension, I'm going to go ahead and pop up my stamped images using some double-sided adhesive foam tape. I like to get good coverage so nothing gets bent or folded during the mail. So now that I have my images with the foam tape, I'm going to go ahead and glue those onto the front of my card. This card came together pretty quick and easy. I'm always trying to find simpler ways to create my cards, but I love the way that the embossed images look with the added dimension with the foam tape. To add a little bit of sparkle, I'm going to add these little gems and glue them down with some liquid glue. And that adds a little bit of that sparkle, just kind of framing the sentiment. And then using my sparkle marker, I'm going to go ahead and add some glimmer and shimmer to the snow on the branches to match the shimmery, snowy bank that the deer, the mama and baby deer, are laying on. How cute is that little owl image? I just love it so much. So now that I feel like I finally have enough sparkle, this completes my card. Thank you guys so much for stopping by the channel. I hope you like this card. I hope you like my video. I hope you'll check out the Miss Ink Stamps shop and all the lovely goodies. Until next time, everyone, have a great day and happy crafting. Bye for now.